Hello, good evening. Good evening. Welcome. Welcome. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. Today is the beginning of another week, and I want to share with you. It will take you about 10 years to see results. I mean, give yourself 10 years on your journey to building your business as an entrepreneur. It will take you a while. And so, prepare and then keep pushing. When you begin a journey, when you start anything, and you are a bit young, ambitious, and impatient, you will think that you will see results in the next week, in the next 2 months, you know. And when the results is not coming as you expected, most people become desperate and they think there's something wrong with them. But when you embark on this journey that they call entrepreneurship, there are a lot that are involved on the road. And so I think one of the safest net will be for you to give yourself long-term thinking, long-term frame of mind. In that case, you will know that there is a minimum amount of hours, there is a minimum amount of time that you have got to try. And perchance, if you're able to do the minimum hours, you may see some kind of results. If you don't, it's like, I've never gotten pregnant, but what I've heard that it takes about 9 months for the baby to be carried in a womb and then for them to come out as a full human being from the mother's womb, which means that if most women have a fair idea that if they conceive, they are not expecting to see the baby out in a month or two. At least they are looking around 9 months. That is a fair, at least everything being equal. And from the little that I've also heard and seen, it will take you about 10 continuous years for you to see effort, for you to start to see rare results as a business person, as an entrepreneur, especially when you began with so much little in terms of finances, in terms of network, in terms of exposure, even in terms of knowledge. Because you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to learn a lot about the business itself. You're going to learn about the product. You're going to learn about people. You're going to learn about the entire economy that you operate in, the culture. You're going to learn so many things. And you're putting a lot of things together. And if you're able to weave them well, then you will have a fair chance succeeding. And so don't give yourself 1 year, 2 years, and if you're not seeing any results, you want to go and try another thing. It takes a while for anybody to become a top professor. If you go to the university, it doesn't take 2 years for anybody to become the VC of that university. It doesn't take 1 year for somebody to become a top lawyer in any country. And if you go to the politicians, it takes a lot of years. Some of them fought for 30 years before they became presidents. So when you start a business and you're looking at 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, you haven't seen results and you want to give up, you are not that much informed. It will take you a lot of years. They say that it will take you about constant, continuous 10 hours, 10,000 hours for you to see results. So you better equip yourself, you better learn, you better at least get informed that it's going to take me a long, 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 long haul, for me to start to see results. And for me, that's why a lot of people give up. A lot of people, say that it is painful. A lot of people say that it's challenging because they want to see results that quick without paying the right results, without paying the right price, without giving it the right input. And so your business journey that you start, if you started any idea, if you started any business, even if you're doing continuous input, if you're learning, if you're pushing, if you're going, it will take you a long haul. It will take you not a minimum of 10 years. If you hear the billionaires that they talk about, if those from our continent, those from other parts of the world, none of them is just a child. A lot of them have tried. A lot of them have tried a lot of businesses. A lot of them have overcome a lot of challenges. A lot of them have made a lot of mistakes. A lot of them have lost a lot of money. A lot of them have been sued, fought. There are so many things that a lot of them have endured, and it's not just seeing the success. That's something about life. It's not just seeing the success, but having the right training, going through the right processes, so that when you see the success, you'll be able to maintain the success that you say that you have had, and then be able to at least move the success from that level to the next level. But if they just push you there, if you start to see the results in a year, and you don't have the right skills, the right equipment, the right tools, the right expertise, it will leave you. Most people think that businesses are just about branding, Photoshop, and putting some things there and being in the media and being on the radio and talking. No, business is about building the fundamentals right. Making sure that the business has continuity, getting the finances right, getting the revenues right, being able to put the team together. And that does not just happen like that. It takes a lot of time and a lot of continuous studies. So if you give yourself small time, maybe the field may not be for you. Your background, a lot of the times when people go through difficulties in their childhood, when people are challenged, when people have endured a lot of pain, they think that they suffered. One of the best things that happen to any human being, especially those who happen to be entrepreneurs, is nobody prayed for them, but the challenges, the pain, the struggles that you happen to have endured, they built you. They built you. And usually the people who try to start businesses have that kind of tendency, where they came from a background where there's, a lot of things were not just there for them. They had to fight, they have to continue to develop themselves and things like that. And it gave them the strength to start a business. The same kind of strength will be needed to start to grow the business and develop it and develop it and develop it and get it to a point that that business start to see rare results. I'm not talking of the results that you paid to get. I'm talking of the results that the business, realistic growth, realistic figures that your business is making. Whatever business that you are in, whether you are into farming, whether you're into poultry, whether you're into construction, whether you're into real estate, whether you're into all kind of businesses, developing any idea, product, anything that you're developing, it will take a lot. Some people have a product, have an idea, have something that, whether the product is tangible or intangible. A lot of businesses that we see are just, they are just product, or they are just ideas. They have not become business yet. It's not a business yet because you still not putting the right infrastructure in place. When you just focus on picking a product and selling, and not building all the other things around the business, no matter how many years that you have done that, you have not really started the journey, because the business must be built with some level of infrastructure around it, and that should be beyond you. And so, my name is Kwabena. I'm just trying to make a point that it will take you not less than 10 years to start to see results. Okay, and so if you have done 1 year and it didn't work, you still have about 9 years to go. And if you have done 3 years and it has not worked, and you have become, what we say, why what bread, and it's just about 2 years. No, you're like the woman carrying a baby who has only done about 3 months and says that I'm tired. No, you still have a lot of hours to do, and so you must equip yourself, train yourself, sleep, get some food to eat, and keep fighting, because you are not going to start to see the results anytime soon. Most of the businesses that are built in where they spend a lot of time to develop the business before it gets to the market, before it starts to make revenue, or it starts to make income. A lot of them are in the lab. A lot of them are in the cubicle. A lot of them in their room, developing, programming, working on the idea, trying everything. So whatever business that you're in, just condition yourself that it will take some time. And I think that that's why people get disappointed, because they give themselves very short time. They are in haste to succeed. They are quick to see results. They're looking for everybody to tell them the magic trick, the magic. They're looking for, oh, so what did you do to become successful? What did you do to see results? They endured. That's all. They endured. They endured the challenges, they endured the pain, they were ready, and they continued to fight. They didn't quit, they didn't give up. It's not just a motivation that somebody is giving, it's just a principle that if you commit to that business that you're building, if you commit to that idea that you're working on, and you don't give up like that, and you continue to challenge yourself and you continue to study, that itself is the trick. That itself is the magic that you're looking for. If you're looking for any special magic, it may not be there. It's just the ability to keep pushing and to keep the required minimum hours that is needed to build a business. And I saying that don't give yourself anything less than 10 years. So if you started that business around 15 years, you're looking at maybe 25 years time, you start to become the proper business person that you're looking to become. If you started that business around 30, you're looking at maybe starting to see success around your 40s. And if you started that business around 50 years, then you know that you're going to start to see results around, that it may deviate a little, depending on the skill set that you began with, depending on maybe some factors, the economy, depending on maybe the kind of business that you're doing, depending on the product, depending on your ability to understand the market that quickly. But fair value, you give yourself that kind of time frame so that you don't give up on yourself. It will take you a lot of risk. You are going to make a lot of decisions. A lot of them will contain risk element, and every one of the decisions can stagnate you, can sink you, can make you lose a lot of time, of resources. Every one of them, just as any decision can also push you up. So it's not so much you just trying to look for just one good idea to succeed. It's also being able to know that I'm going to stick around with this thing and see how it works. And that will take a lot of it. And so you're going to launch into a lot of things that you may not be sure, but you still have to keep yourself moving, and keep pushing, because it will take some level of faith, some level of risk taking for you to start to see results. And so you you need that. You need a lot of endurance, a lot of persistence. So you have got to be resilient in your ability to build in that business that you say you want to build. These are just basic things that every one of us must know and must understand, that business is going to take a lot of endurance. And if you cannot endure, if you cannot persist, you have to go back and learn it. And don't just be looking and be, especially the religious ones, they're looking for, if God is with me, why am I struggling? If God is with me, why am I going through this? And sometimes you hear this advice that, if you're going to do it, learn to do it right from the first point, not entrepreneurship, as a matter of fact. Maybe in an employed situation, yes, maybe if you work for the government, don't try to make mistakes. In a business, you don't have a structure, you don't have a system, you're the one building the system at the same time. A lot of things can go wrong, and they would go wrong. So you just have to understand that a lot of things will go wrong, and a lot of things can go wrong, and they will go wrong. You don't just think that you are so much genius. No, they will go wrong, and that's why we are giving ourselves about 10 years. So that when they go wrong, they will go wrong and come back. They will go wrong and come back, and sometimes when they come back, they stay. So it takes a while. It takes a while, and that will help you to lessen the kind of pressure that you put on yourself, because when people are so much ambitious in gaining and making profit that quickly, that's why we start to cut all the corners. That's why we start to cheat. That's why we start to lie. That's why we get conned and scammed, because we want to hit big that quickly in the shortest possible time. And anything that goes through that usually does not work that much. So you give yourself time, and you give yourself realistic margins. You give yourself realistic growth rate, because in a country, when you start a business, the first year, the first month, you must make your money back. You must break even the first 2 months. While some people are giving themselves 5 years before they start to get that money that they put in back. That is, if they don't lose everything out. So we have unsustainable approach to building businesses, to developing entrepreneurs, and that for me puts a lot of pressure on a lot of these guys who are trying to build businesses, because you'll be under pressure to impress people and to show that you have bought an office, bought a car, have a big, you have employed a lot of people that quickly. And what betides you is some of these media people start to put some camera on you and things like that. You want to impress. No, you have to build the fundamentals rightly. You have to develop yourself. You have to take time to develop yourself, discipline yourself, and study the business. If you make 10% profit in a year, you have not done badly at all. If you're able to pay everybody that you owe and pay your workers and make, some profit, you have done well. So gradually, give yourself that gradual progress. Don't be so much quick to say that, I had 100,000, I was able to trade to get 200,000 within a year. Because in that case, you're just breaking every law. You're just breaking everything just to get the profit. And when you break everything like that to get profit and to impress people, it means that you are jumping the processes. And so when you're hit, you will go back to zero, and it will be very difficult for you to get back. But the one who takes his time to build it gradually, when they are hit, they don't hit on the ground like that, because they built the foundation well. So they will be able to pick from a certain height and to get back to where they want to go. So give yourself time. It takes time. It takes time. Nobody becomes an expert in a minute, and nobody succeeds in business that quickly. So you're a young guy, you're ambitious, you are starting a computer company, you have started a programming company, whatever company that you have started, take yourself, give yourself time. Continue to develop yourself, study, learn, but don't be so much quick and desperate and to do anything just to make a profit. It takes a while. It takes a while. I remember the other time we were talking, my friend, he said that, Jack, I used to tell him that, listen, this thing will take time also, just be cool. He said, no, maybe it took you time. Me, I want to make it that quickly. 2 years I should be. Now he has done 7 years and he still say that he's learning. It takes time. It takes time. And the thing is that 10 years is full of, troubles and challenges and difficulties. And it's still, and sometimes, but the idea that to make you explode, it come latter part. Sometimes even the business that you start with may not be the business that will make you, understand the business that you are building. No. Sometimes the business you start with was just an idea to launch you onto that journey. And maybe along the line, you may meet different people, different ideas will come to you. But you can transfer that business experience, that entrepreneurship lifestyle that you learn in building that product, into this new one that you think is sustainable. Because a lot of us will start something, not necessarily because we understand what we start with, but it's because you just have to move anyway. If you have a business idea and you're looking for the perfect moment to start, it may never happen. You just have to start, and you start to do something. The mistakes will come, the losses will come, the pain will come. That's why you start gradually. And that's why you give yourself the long haul, hoping that by the time that you are done with some of these, time that you have given yourself, you will start to see some kind of success, some kind of progress, some kind of, profit if you make any at all. So don't get disappointed. And don't give up that much. Don't be in haste trying to succeed that quickly. It takes a lot of quality decisions, quality skill sets, the ability to put the right team together, the ability to know that this idea will work, being financially disciplined and making the right decisions with your money, that they pay you, being in the right environment, being connected with the right people, understanding how the economy operates. There are a lot of things that must come into play before a business starts to succeed. Before a business starts to succeed, before a business starts to become sustainable, there are a lot of things that come into play, and you're not going to get those things in a year, especially if you didn't do anything and you just happen to have jumped into this journey. So it takes a while. In any field, people don't just become experts in a day. They grow, they develop, they try, they make mistakes, they learn, they jump, they go to the next step. So you will need your passion to be strong. You need that passion. The passion cannot just be, I want to make money. You need to have that sense of mission. You need to know that that thing that you're spending your time to build, that business, that product, will have some kind of significant impact on the community, on the economy, on the people, on the town, on the society. You'll be able to solve some, so you have that sense of purpose, because without that, 10 years will be that much long for you. You will give up. So you have to have that kind of passion. You have to have that kind of love, not just solely for the business, but also for the people you work with, for the idea that you're working on. You must have that energy. You must have that strength, and it comes from that sense of purpose. If you don't have that, you may have to develop it, because it's not just about money. It's also about that sense of mission, that sense of purpose, that passion, your ability to overcome difficulties and challenges. You must hone them. You must repair them. You must establish them. You must work on that, because when people think that they are so much intelligent, that's why a lot of intelligent people, in quote, a lot of intelligent people who are very much scholarly, astute, scholarly, intelligent, don't necessarily start businesses. Why? Because you must overcome a lot of difficulties and challenges. And if you are that intelligent, you will not, you will not want to jump into that. You eventually would have to be crazy to start a business, because the best decisions can turn out to be the worst decisions. So your ability to endure and to keep pushing is very much important. And if you pass this stage, you may survive. If you're able to do the 10 years, if you're able to give yourself time, you may survive, and you may have clarity in at least being able to understand that this business, maybe this business can succeed and can make some meaning. So it will take you that. And so my name is Kwabena. I'm saying that it will take you not less than 10 years for you to do that business that you're doing. Any enterprise, anything that you think you're going to build, it takes time. The time may reduce or may even go further depending on some other factors. But on the average, you're giving yourself that time. So if you have done just few minutes, few years, don't think, and you're not seeing results, don't think that you are wrong. Don't think that there's something wrong with you. Don't think that you are not a genius. Don't think that somebody is against you. You're just developing. It's the process. What is important is the process that is preparing you. The process that is developing you is so much important, because you are discovering yourself out of the process. You're identifying your strength. You are actually, what is the English word? You're actually sharpening your tool by the process. You're equipping yourself by the process. You're becoming intelligent. You are learning the trade by the process. They learn the trade. It's a trade that you're learning. It's a skill that you're learning. That's why a doctor does not just become an expert. Nobody becomes an expert like that. They are pushed under people to study, and they give them time. Go and look at the most technical professions. The best lawyers, the best judges have worked for a while. They have been around for a long time. And yet when people start businesses, they think that, yes, if a lawyer has to stay along, even that, they are not responsible for the system and the structures. If you start a business, there are a lot of components that you are going to be responsible for. And so don't give yourself that 2 years, that 3 years. If they were structured economies are even giving themselves this kind of years, here hours, I think that you may have to give yourself even double. Double, and keep pushing and keep pushing. So you have to have a strategy. So how do I survive in these 10 years? You have to have strategy. You may not have to start with, you may start with one business, but you may have to think through and see how you can get other businesses alongside it, at least for nothing at all, to get something to eat and something to pay the rent, and maybe something to, put on buy some shoe. But the main business is going to take you a lot of time to build. And you have got to make sure that you create a network of people who are trustworthy, people who are solid. You don't need a lot of fake guys around you, because those guys will delay you. The more fake people, in quote, that you have as friends, as acquaintances, as your network, the more you delay, because they are not so much committed to you becoming better. So if they see something they have to correct for you to become better, they will not. If they get proper information, they will hide it from you. And for me, the network that you have, the environment that you have created, that environment is going to be responsible whether you're able to do the 10 years. By the time 10 years will come, you are still nothing. So create people who you know are solid, even if it's one person. Not create, but make sure you connect with people who have that sense of purpose, that sense of mission, those who are developing themselves, that sense of accomplishment. You have a business, you must have that connection of people who are also working on things like that, so that the journey can be enjoyable. You don't need a lot of people who just say green and it's yellow. They delay a lot of people. They delay you. If you have a network of people like that, you are just wasting your days, because you don't become any better by having people like that who you cannot trust their word, who are not developing themselves, who are not even committed to learning. I know people who will never pick a book to read, will never learn anything. They believe in their intelligence so much, and they are not going anywhere, because you will not stay within the 10 years if you are not building yourself, if you're not developing yourself, if you're not challenging yourself. And so my name is Obendako. It will take you no less than 10 years to see your dream of building a business realized. And so give yourself long haul, and don't be so much desperate when you are not seeing it. Still continue. What is important is that you continue to develop yourself, you continue to get the right nutrients, the right skills, you set the goals and you keep pushing, because it's a journey, and it's a journey that can take you a while. And be realistic in terms of what it will take for you to succeed. And a lot of it is within your reach. A lot of it, the difference between you and where you want to go, is the skill set, the knowledge that we need. The rest, leave it to God. But a lot we have to do. So if you are not seeing the results, if you're not seeing the things that we think we should see, look within you. Don't blame anybody. And along the journey, the people who show up to make you make those mistakes, don't blame them. Look within yourself. If somebody helped you to do the right business, or if somebody contributed to you losing that money, don't blame them. It's you. If you look within you, you'll be able to repair it and take advantage of that experience. But if you think that is somebody's fault, then it becomes difficult for you to learn anything from it. It may seem like somebody's fault, but it doesn't matter. But what is important is that what is it that you can pick from that experience, so that it can help you to make the 10 years, or even sometimes even hit your target and build something and start to see the real results earlier than the 10 years that we are thinking it is. So it takes a while to build credible businesses. The business that you're building is not just about Facebook images. It's just not just about putting something on Instagram. It's not just about when people, I think a lot of people think that business is just branding. No, what you put out there is not really the branding, the image editing and those things. That's not the business. It's how you're able to get the results to your customers. It's good you package the business. It's good to create a facade, because a lot of people, it's like individuals who have created
Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
So it's like a lot of people who have created a lot of this false sense of importance. Every TV program you can see them there, all those things, and they have no typical rare business. Why? Because they believe in the so-called branding. No, what you want in that case, for you to sustain that image, if you don't have the rare income and money, you have created a lie. But the business must produce rare income, and you must be able to know that this business is growing. Am I making profit, or I'm making losses? And if you have find yourself in a ditch, still repackage the business and get back on track. Don't be so much concerned about what people think. What is important is the business making progress in the things that a business must make progress in, because that is what is going to make the business sustainable. That is what is going to grow the business. That is going to make you hit your target, and build a business that can stand, and a business that can reflect what you stand for, because the business is just an extension of what you stand for anyway. So I will say thank you very much for watching. Give yourself time, be patient, get the right skills, the right resource, you're going to take a lot of risk. You need a lot of courage. You need passion to keep going. You need proper network of people who you can depend on, who can challenge you, not fake people. And you cannot just stay in the disappointment. You have to push yourself, and you have to get the results and get discipline and keep pushing. Nobody really is a genius. They have all identified that this is a trick, that if I'm going to push myself, I will see the results. I will see the results. I will see the results that I'm waiting for. Nobody is really so much special. They are all just pushing, and they're doing a lot within that 10 years. So if you give yourself that, maybe hopefully within that 10 years you will succeed, maybe. And so you have to build that, that because there's no business if you're just lying and cheating and trying to create something to impress people. Don't be quick to package something to present to people. No, just continue to build that which is credible, with that which is dependable, that which is reflecting your status of maturity of your skill set. Grow with that. Grow with the kind of person. The business grows with you. The leadership that you're providing is that is the leadership that the business is going to grow with. Don't create facade. Don't create a lot of cloudings. Just grow gradually like that. It helps you, and it helps you to become a better person, a better leader. And some people will take a lot of years to build that, and then the next few years you see that they're exploding, and you will think that, why did they explode that much? It's because they took a lot of years to build the right foundation, and the right network, the right skill set, the right understanding, the right wisdom to grow a business. But if you are in haste, you will just crash in no time, because you are quick to impress people, and you don't need to impress anybody. Just grow according to your strength. According to your strength, and become a better leader. Develop the ability to understand what it takes for a business to succeed, because there are things that people must know for a business to succeed. So thank you very much. Be patient and give yourself some time, because it's a long journey with a lot of troubles. It's a long journey with a lot of trouble, but enjoy the journey, because it's not so much the results, but enjoy the journey, every bit of it. The mistakes, the pain, the successes, enjoy every bit of them, because it's actually your life that you're living anyway. The 10 years is part of your life, so you better enjoy it, and you better be happy and glad, and learn as much as you can, and keep pushing. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much.